Hi again, everybody. I have a story here from Stephanie, and I believe there's audio at the end. Dear Ollie, first let me say I'm so appreciative of what you do. Your work has been a huge help to me these past few weeks in understanding the type of person I'm dealing with. Secondly, I'd like to say I wish I could contribute to your work. But as I am in the very early stages of going no contact, my access to expendable income is limited. I have to go on an indefinite resignation from my employer because of all this. But thankfully, they've been very understanding and have said I'm more than welcome to come back as soon as the dust settles. On to my situation. My husband, who I'm 90% sure is a covert narcissist, recently kicked me out of our brand new apartment on October 1st with the clothes on my back, some toiletries, and my dog. We'd only been there 2 weeks, and I was looking forward to the future and maybe a more peaceful existence with them. However, this turned out to not be the case. We've been together since spring of 2011. Everything was pretty good in the first months. I thought I had found a great man that I could settle down with. He was mild, polite, respectful, and funny. His mother had died 2 weeks before we met, his father 9 months prior, so I had much sympathy, pity for him, as I never experienced a close loss or losses like that before. The first time he showed me who he really was, I should have told him to fuck off. Ignorant me didn't. I was working 12-hour night shifts at the time, and I had texted him the night prior that I would be coming over the next evening when I was off. However, after driving home that morning, I noticed my gas tank was closer to empty than I thought. I made a mental note to get with him later to change our plans. I got up that afternoon and had some coffee and smoked a cigarette or two, then gave him a call. I told him about my gas situation, that I was going to stay at home until I got paid the next day. Plus, I was tired from working, and that I'd see him tomorrow. His reaction was absolutely uncalled for. He started berating me with a very aggressive tone, saying things like, "The road goes both ways, and my gas burns just as well as yours." I tried to explain to him, "I'm just canceling our plans for tonight. Chill out." But it landed on deaf ears. Eventually, he hung up on me. I called him back. He didn't answer. I called back a few more times. He would pick up and immediately hang up. It wasn't until I left a message saying, "Fine, I'm coming over," that he decided to act like a semi-decent person again. I see it now for what it was, but at the time I didn't. I was just extremely confused and hurt. From that incident forward, I was always guarded and reserved around him. The most puzzling thing for him was he couldn't figure out why, seemingly out of the blue, that I became like that. It continued to be a sore spot with him through our dating years and even after we were married. Another successful attempt to manipulate me came when we got into an argument about my timidity with him. This happened about a year or so after the gas argument. I tried explaining why wouldn't I be guarded. What innocent statement was I going to say that would cause the hammer to fall? He started packing his stuff, saying I'd never find anyone acting the way I did, that his friends were right about me. One of those friends, I'm pretty sure, is an overt narc, and other such hurtful things. Of course, I cried because I couldn't figure out what the hell I did to justify being treated this way. I think he fed off my tears because as soon as I started crying, he changed his tune and began apologizing, saying he was out of line and overreacted. This was his MO for all of our arguments, especially the ones where he threatened to leave and started packing his stuff. In May 2013, we got married because we found out we were pregnant. My entire pregnancy and when we had our baby girl was the happiest I ever was in our relationship. We had her in November 2013. Unfortunately, she died in April 2014 at the tender age of 4.5 months from SIDS. I was absolutely devastated. I had to quit work because I couldn't function at all. The grief was overwhelming. The first year or so after her death, I is shrouded in a mental fog. I think my husband took advantage of this for the next few years. Gaslighting was his favorite target tactic when combined with my grief. Unfortunately, it worked so well that now I sometimes have severe memory loss about some situations, usually involving him. Due to my lack of income, my parents offered their home to us in order to grieve without the stress of our financial situation. My husband didn't want to go, but begrudgingly accepted. We moved out of our apartment and into theirs during November 2014. My twin sister and her daughter moved into the apartment above my parents around the same time. I'm sure you could see where this is going. We were there for almost 2 years until mid-September 2016. During that time, I found myself indirectly drawn into the middle of conflicts between my family members and husband, usually over the pettiest things. And usually my family was ignorant of it because he always had the happy-go-lucky mask on. Most of the time, these shitstorms were caused by perceived slights from the most innocent statements. No one was immune, up to and including my adolescent niece. Somebody could have made a remark about money, vehicles, cooking, etc. It didn't matter. My husband took it as a personal, smart-ass, sneaky attack. Instead of taking it up with the person he thought was directing it at him, I'd hear about it. The next thing I know, I'm trying to explain how my family is not like that. They'd say it directly to you. Quit being paranoid. Those explanations were never, ever good enough. Eventually, it happened often enough that I resorted to telling him right off the bat, if you have something to say to any of my family, take it up with them. You're a grown man. That opens up a can of worms with him accusing me of not being loyal enough to him, and that I always defended my family by taking their side and not his, when in reality I was trying to stay as neutral as possible. His targets of choice were my mom and sister. He admitted a few times how he was just jealous of our close relationship. I thought this was odd considering he was in his late 20s, early 30s. He accused her sister indirectly, in other words, through me, that she was always trying to get in between me and him, talking shit about him and just being a plain terrible human being, which I know isn't true. Of course, I resented him for it. She never done anything or said anything to deserve it. Long story short, his attempts at triangulation between my sister and I were futile. His attempts at triangulation and isolation from my mom worked, though. We lived under the same roof and barely spoke to each other, unless it was small talk. Everyone walked on eggshells to keep from offending him in order to spare me the bullshit of trying to fend it off. I vented about this to my family when it was possible, which is brought up in the audio, and he is probably still deeply offended by it. One of the other things I had to deal with, and I used the term loosely due to ignorance on my part, was sexual abuse. There were many times during our relationship that I was coerced into sex through guilt manipulation and pouting. That was bad enough, but after our daughter died, it got worse. For example, I would be lying in bed crying over her. He would try to comfort me by holding me and telling me it was going to be okay, but apparently being that close to me, well, he just couldn't help himself. I would still be crying, and he'd roll me over and start to penetrate me. No foreplay. Making sure I was okay with it. Nothing. It's like he felt entitled to my body simply because he liked to say, I've got papers, i.e. marriage license, on that ass. In other words, because we were married, I should be willing to have sex with him whenever he wanted it, no matter how I felt about it. He really started telling himself earlier this year, saying the most alarming, inexcusable things. This is when I really knew for sure I was dealing with someone dangerous. The first time was around March or so, and during that time, I found a little spot in some nearby woods to go to get away from him and just be left alone for a while. When I was packing my bag to go, I asked him to leave me alone and not to come out there. I might have been there for an hour, and here he comes. I was so disgusted. His justification for coming out there was, one, to make sure I wasn't going to hurt myself. He supposedly had fear of me committing suicide because of grief. And two, to tell me something. He said when he got home from work that morning, he overheard my mom and dad talking about how they wanted to put a hit out on my sister. I laughed at him because the thought of it was and really and still is absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard him say. So I got the laugh out and still grinning. I said, "Come on, really?" His reply, "Yeah, I heard that, but don't tell anybody I told you." I knew it was a lie. I know my parents. I know the kind of people they are. They would not, they would never even remotely entertain an idea like that. I kept it under my hat for a few days. One day when he was at work, I got with my parents and asked them, "Is there any way y'all could have had a conversation recently that someone might have misheard as getting a hit put out on my sister?" Of course, they had the most confused looks on their faces and said, "No, what's this all about?" I told them, turns out the day in question when he supposedly heard that, my dad wasn't even up that morning. When I confronted him about it, he said he didn't say it and I misheard. Gaslighting bastard. Then he got pissed off because I was trying to catch him in a lie. He also went on to tell others lies like trying to cover his ass, up to including that night my mom might have been on the phone with someone or she was talking to herself. Other alarming things he said: "I'm going to put the pillow over your dad's face and suffocate him in his sleep." Because of more perceived disrespect from my family. Oh, wouldn't I wouldn't have used a gun. A gun would have been too quick. His justification for this, he was venting. Yeah. What you've read so far is the greater context of our relationship. As a quick side note, I've never had a moment's peace. If I had to go to the store for something, he went with me. Taking the dog out to go potty, he was there. If he wanted to step outside and smoke a cigarette for some peace and quiet, he'd come. It's like every moment of spare time he had to be there for it. I gave up reading, which I enjoy, because he'd always interrupt or talk loudly and constantly. But when it came to him watching TV and I had a question for him, not now, I'm trying to watch this. I hope this gives you a good idea of my life in past 5.5 years. I feel like I need some validation because I haven't been around narcissists much. In the spirit of full disclosure, my husband's full name is used in the audio at 3006. I'll leave it to your discretion whether or not you want to leave it in, if you want to make a YouTube out of it. By the time the audio was recorded, I had a very healthy suspicion that he's a covert narcissist and I was dealing with a sick, twisted mind. I started to regrow my backbone when dealing with him. Hence the extreme sarcasm in some instances. Also, I feel I should add the audio is only 35 minutes of a 4-hour-long argument that started because he was venting again about all the so-called disrespect that my family supposedly paid him. The end result was me getting kicked out around 6:30 in the morning. Like I said in the beginning, he texted the next day and said the reason he did it was to prove a point to my mom that we can get in an argument without anyone getting hit, and he wasn't holding me there against my will. So yeah, 4-hour-long arguments somehow prove a point. As my sister said, I'm going to be a douche to prove I'm not a douche. Again, thanks for all you do. I hope you and Charlene can find some measure of peace and happiness in your lives. You deserve it. Kindest regards, Stephanie H. P.S. Sorry for the novella of an email. Also, something is mentioned in the clip about me snapping at my mom. Didn't happen. Bean is our daughter's name, and we use it to refer to her more than her actual name. If you decide to do a video of my story, please reply with the video link. If not, I would graciously appreciate a written reply. I hope you have a great day. Peace.
I got to prove myself. You always looking at me and questioning me like I am one. Like the bullshit with Tiff. Prime example. I had to prove myself to you then.
About Tiff?
Yeah.
What about Tiff?
We were joking around. You know, partnering on each other, fucking off. There wasn't no problem up till we happened to do it around Sarah. Sarah said that there was a Tiff said something about it. then here you are wanting to jump in my ass.
I didn't jump in your
Well,
ass.
you said something to me about it. You
Yeah.
A man and a woman are farting on each other. So we got the mentality down already.
So what?
Well, what if Marty was doing
So what?
See, there we go. Automatically defending them.
No.
Instead of saying that, okay, look.
How was that asking so what defending them?
It's automatically because you automatically defend them. You don't notice what you're doing. You automatically defend them. And it's blatant to see that she lied. Because you remember me asking Tiff. Do you remember me asking her?
Yeah, I remember asking her, but I remember bringing it up before you ever came up there and asked her because you got your panties in a wad about it.
Yeah, because I was lied upon. Multiple times. And I was tired of it.
Oh my God, this guy sounds like someone. He actually sounds like someone I know. He is a woman in a man's body. He needs a BFF. He needs to be around all the time. He is a little girl. That is what is going on here. At a minute 24, I can already tell what he is.
Do you even see where I'm coming from on this?
No.
Look, this is how it played out to me, okay? Y'all were joking around. Tiff didn't have a problem with it, but Sarah did.
Yep.
And I brought up the fact that Sarah had a problem with it, and Tiff didn't like it. Now, I don't know if Tiff lied to you because she didn't want to get you mad or whatever, but she told you what you wanted to hear, or she was telling the truth and she didn't remember. I don't fucking know.
Put my whole...
Listen, I'm not fucking done yet.
Okay. Okay.
So then I bring it up. Tiff said it bothered her.
Tiff said it bothered her.
Tiff said it bothered her. I heard this from Sarah. Don't do it no more.
Tiff said it bothered her. That's from what Sarah said. That's what Sarah said.
You're talking about farting on a woman, and he's surprised that somebody might say it bothers them. Gee, I don't know why you'd want to tell somebody and why you'd be uncomfortable telling someone who is stupid enough to fart on a woman, a grown man, why you would be uncomfortable because he might not be able to handle being told, don't fart on me.
Sarah said she didn't like it either.
Unbelievable.
Okay. When were you going to tell me this?
Why did you have to need to be told? When were you going to tell me somebody doesn't like to be farted on? You didn't tell me that this woman didn't want me farting on her. What a victim. Like, I don't even think we need to go much further from here.
Never said anything to me. Never said anything to me.
It's your fault. It's your fault that he's farting on people.
How do I know, sir, that
That's not true.
He needs
I
it
told you
explained
that.
to him.
You didn't know. You have not told me that. You told me that Sarah said that Tiff had a problem with it.
Yeah.
That's from what you said.
And
Sarah
if
said.
Sarah didn't like it neither.
You said Sarah didn't like it. You didn't say nothing about Tiff. Nothing about Tiff.
No, it doesn't matter. If
Yes,
I
it does.
if I
Yes,
said
it does, baby.
if I
Yes, it
said
does.
Tiffany said she didn't like it,
No, you
but
said,
yet you're gonna come up here anyway and be like, well, Tiff said she didn't. She told me herself.
you said
Blah, blah,
that
blah.
came from Sarah. You didn't say nothing about Tiff.
Yeah, I
Who
came from
cares?
Sarah.
You said
I told you
Who
that.
cares
Sarah
where it
told me.
came from? Who gives a shit? You're farting on women. Who cares where it came from?
And said she didn't like it.
You said that came from.
See, you're getting involved trying to argue details that don't even fucking matter. Why is your husband farting on a woman?
You said that.
I'm sick of this bullshit.
No, listen. You said that came from freaking Sarah. You didn't. You said that Sarah said Tiff said.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny when I went in there and asked her, she didn't say nothing about it. So how do I know Sarah didn't coerce her into saying anything? But then you didn't say nothing to say, well, Brian, Tiff really did say that. So y'all just need to chill out.
Well, it doesn't matter because
Yes,
you're going to
does.
go back and say, well, Tiff told me this.
No.
So it doesn't matter.
And then
if
he's
I
going to
said
go
that.
back and challenge. Not only, see, and this is what narcissists do. This is the fear of telling them anything they're doing wrong, because then they're going to go back and they're going to confront the person. And who wants to fucking... This is what they don't understand, because at the end of the day, your husband feels like he should be able to fucking do and say and fart on whoever the hell he wants.
I have a right to defend myself. I'm wrong to
Defend yourself? I have a farter's rights? Listen, bro, go start a campaign or something. I have a right to defend myself. To fart on people? This isn't about who got mad. They don't like it. They don't like it. This is about your fucking behavior.
try to defend myself, Steph. I am wrong for that.
I'm fucking confused now.
No, you're not confused. You just don't want to hear it.
No, seriously. I'm fucking confused. Because any other time, if I said, Sarah texted me and said that Tiff didn't like it, that you did that. If that's all we were going on right now, you come back and say, well, Tiff told me this, and you heard that from
Stephanie,
yourself.
the question is, why are you farting on anybody to begin
So
with?
where am I
And
supposed
why
to
does
go
it
with
need
that?
to be explained to you?
Say something. At least say something to me.
I did.
Oh,
and that's where
say
this whole
something.
thing's coming from.
What do you need to say to a grown-ass
Oh,
man so he
crap.
doesn't fart on people?
Ever since that damn day, ever since that day, you said, the only thing that I've ever heard was that Sarah said, that Tiff said. What Tiff?
And whenever they talk like this, and they're almost whining, and then you know they're full of shit. Like bordering, you fucking pussy.
She didn't like it. So I went up there, I asked Tiff. Tiff said right then and there, she don't remember saying anything like that. Now, if you heard anything else from that day forward, how I supposed to know?
I didn't hear anything else. That's what I'm going on.
It's so hard for him to believe not to fart on someone else, right?
It's pretty funny you didn't come down there and say that.
That's what she said through the text.
That's what she said. But it's pretty plainly to say that she already lied one time. What's that stopping her from covering her own ass? Did you even ask Tiff?
Lie about what?
You did? Yeah.
Not lie that I didn't fart on anybody. Lying about who likes it and who doesn't. This is not the argument you should have been having with him, Stephanie. I hope this isn't what the argument is for another 30 minutes.
I was right there.
Did you even ask Tiff? Because, like I said, from what Tiff said, I'm going back from what she said. That girl ain't gonna lie to me. If I did something that girl did not like, Tiff would say something.
They're always experts. And that's the other thing. They're always experts on their relationships, what everybody else is going to accept from them, what everybody's going to say, would tell them and would feel about what they're always experts. You are arguing the wrong point. You're arguing the wrong points here.
Tiff would say something. Now tell me she wouldn't.
Why would anybody say anything to this guy?
Tell me she
to deal with this, so you have to you like it? Oh, come on. Who's going to want to deal with this relationship?
I said something out of the way to her she didn't like. She said, okay, I don't like that. Okay. She corrected me. All right? She didn't like it, so I knew not to do it again.
Why are you doing so many things that people don't like?
From what the understanding I'm getting is, there was 2 separate conversations going on from there. You're going by from what Sarah said.
There's 2 separate conversations. There's the one that Sarah sent me through text, and there's the one that me and you had.
Yeah. Okay. So evidently there's something confused in here somewhere.
All right. So we're 7 minutes in. The whole gist of this is he doesn't believe that Tiffany doesn't want to be fucking farted on. And he's having this argument with his wife over farting on another woman.
What about me? That's what I'm asking. What about me? Where's my loyalty at? My loyalty from you, where is it at? That's the thing, you never answer me. You never answer me that. Because I keep bringing case after case after case up to you, yet you never answer for it. Yet you never have an answer for it. You never have an answer for it.
Well, gee, it's kind of hard to have loyalty to someone who's farting on other women. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead a few minutes because I couldn't listen to him just going.
Yet when you snapped at your mom, okay, I stood up for you. I said she's going through a rough time because we lost her child. She's still grieving over it. Yet when you snapped at me, yeah, I might have been mad and pissed off or whatever. And your mom said, well, I can't take no more of this. And I was like, you know what? She's still grieving, okay? She is still grieving. I'm standing up for you. When have you stood up for me?
You should have stood up for him when he's farting on other women, right?
That's my case. And another thing, leaving that alone. Why were you bad mouthing me? I understand that you couldn't get away from me.
It's bad. Venting does not equal bad mouth.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
yes, it does.
whatever.
Yes, it does. Because when she started supposedly
that's
venting,
been explained to you, but
no,
whatever.
when she started venting to people, accusing people of lying, and talking pure shit about them, that's no longer venting. That's because you don't like the person. That's because you don't like them. I mean, yeah, I did what I did, and I apologize for it, and I will continue to apologize for it, but god damn it, I deserve some damn respect here. I deserve something. I deserve some type of answer of why.
You want to respect the guy who goes around farting.
I took care of you the best I fucking could.
And bitching.
And I know that's where it came from. Was from you. I did the best that I damn could. If it wasn't good enough, I'm sorry. It hurts, but I'm sorry. I love you. What more do you want from me? I try to do the best I can for you. That's what I was trying to do, the best I could. No, I didn't have any insurance on me. Wow, shoot me in the fucking face and be done with it already. Sorry. No, I wasn't working because I was drawing my Social Security. Disability. Because maybe I'm fucked up in the head. I have to be persecuted for that.
Always the victim.
I was bringing in money.
Always
like
the
bills
victim.
Going lacking. Your mom was getting paid. The art stuff you want, you got it. You wanted to go to school, you got to do that. See, that's the thing. When it's time for y'all to get called out, it's automatically, oh, I'm just this, I'm the bad guy, da 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 da. But okay, it's time for me to call them out. You da 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 da. Everybody else has got to stand there and take it. Basically, that's what I'm doing. I'm calling you out.
For what?
Not standing on my side. Me always having to prove myself.
Sorry, if you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm just saying, not in any particular situation, but if you're wrong, I think you're wrong. I'm gonna say so.
Well, if I'm wrong, in your eyes, I'm always wrong. So.
See, and herein lies the problem.
That's a stretch.
Herein lies the problem, which is the same problem with narcissists every time. They're never wrong. Even when they're wrong, they're supposed to be right, and you're supposed to back them up. And that's his problem. He wants to take zero responsibility for any of his actions anytime in his life. Basically at the end of the recording now, anyway. You know, you guys got the basic gist of it's 35 minutes of him whining and taking zero responsibility. And considering that the recording starts off with an argument about him farting on another woman, and the woman who was farted on really liked it, and this one's, and you're not backing me. See, it doesn't matter. If you farted on someone else and it turned and they didn't like it, you feel like anyone else would feel like an idiot, not him. Doesn't matter what he does, because you're having the wrong argument with them. You're having the wrong argument with him. There's nothing to argue about because he's wrong. How do you back up someone? There's nothing to back up. You can't back up bad behavior. And that's what he expects. That's his problem. That's what he expects at all times, is for you to back up his bad behavior. You know, and I find it weird that 2 weeks after his mother died and 9 months after his father died is when you get involved with him. I would imagine his mommy probably wiped his ass for him, and he was a little mama's bitch boy, because that's what he acts like. And what I think is he was just looking to replace his mommy with you, and that's what he got, because he probably was raised by a woman who never criticized anything he ever did. That's a guy that's a guy who feels entitled to fart on other people. You know, that's a person who has never been told he's done a goddamn thing wrong in his entire life. And that would be from his mother. So it's no wonder 2 weeks after his mother died, he's out looking for a relationship and hoovering you in. Sorry about your child. I couldn't even imagine going through something like that. I couldn't even imagine going through something like that. But understand, had your child survived, and if you had your child still, it wouldn't have changed him. He'd still be a narcissist, and he'd probably be using the child against you in some way, or ignoring or neglecting. Don't think the death of the child had anything to do with it. It didn't. You're standing there, and you said this was a 4-hour argument? A 4-hour argument starting over farting on other people. You're arguing the wrong point. It didn't even matter of he said, she said. I'm sure you don't want him farting on other people. I'm sure you don't want him acting the way he does. That should be enough. It shouldn't matter whether or not Tiffany likes it or not, or Sarah likes it or not, or whoever, or Sarah liked it or not, or Stephanie doesn't like it. You don't like it. You're the opinion that should matter. Fuck the rest of them. It doesn't matter. You wasted 4 hours of your time. Instead of just saying to them, I don't fucking like it, and it's going to stop. That's why you were having the wrong argument. That's why you got caught up in this. It was the wrong argument. I hope he's out of your life and he stays out of your life from here on in. Because, you know, this guy is me, and no matter what, he is going to be the victim. Even when he's wrong. I apologize. Well, fuck your apology. Doesn't matter. You're still supposed to have backed him up, even though he was wrong, and that's what he's telling you. So, thank you for your story. I really appreciate it. I hope this helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a narcissist you'd like to expose, or a topic you'd like me to cover, you know what to do with the PayPal and my email link in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon.